Okay. Uh, this started a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought it was going to start recording when I went live. So, anyways, if you are watching this as a video and not the actual live on TikTok, welcome to Indie Interviews Episode 2. This is where we bring up indie comic creators and let them have a stage to talk about themselves. The reason I'm wearing this will be explained a lot later. Anyways, let's go ahead and go live. Episode 2. We're in this. We are live. Let's make our post on Discord. What is up? What is up? What is up? I'll wait for people to get in here. Spooderman. Spooderman's gonna be hosting the indie interviews today. Hey, we got Shockwave in already. Let's go. Let's go ahead and get him up here. TikTok Studio takes forever to load. Oh my gosh. What is up, random guy? Let's go. Episode 2. Aw, thank you for the heart, bro. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Bring him up, and we'll give it a few minutes before we do anything. Let everybody join up. What up, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hold on, let me turn on my camera so people can know that I'm an actual person and not some type of AI bot.
All right. I got this freaking Spider-Man outfit on. Atomics was talking about his outfit. I was like, guys, should I wear my Spider-Man outfit for the live? And they were just like, do it.
Man, it is what it is. You're getting in the spirit. You're getting in the spirit of the movie that will be out soon. So.
Dude, I'm so hyped for it, bro. It's inspired by the Insomniac games. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it looks good. I will say that.
Hi,
Hopefully,
Mom.
it will live up. It'll live up to the hype.
Oh, I definitely think it will. I definitely think it will. Looks good. What's up, everyone?
Oh, your mom's here, so that means I have to be on my best behavior.
Yeah, best behavior.
I promised everybody that I would not be unhinged or anything like that. So I had to make that promise.
What's up, Meteorite? What's up, Nabby? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Just got off work. It's dope. Spider-Man.
Absolutely got to share with people because, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Doing lore. Right. That's a good one. That's a good choice. Always got to be productive. At the grocery store, but I couldn't miss Shockwave's interview. Nah, bro, you can't.
Well, I mean, you could, you just, it would be interesting watching you shop and conduct an interview at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm known for multitasking, so.
What up, Eternal Comics? Welcome, welcome. I think we got some decent people in here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this intro. All right. All right. What is up, guys? And welcome back to episode 2 of Indie Interviews. We got Spider-Man hosting this live. This is where we bring up indie creators and give them a platform to share their project and what they're currently working on. So, firstly, let's welcome in our first guest of tonight, the creator of Future Shock. What is up, man?
I am living the dream and dreaming to live.
Heck yeah, we love to hear that.
For everybody who doesn't know me, my name is Shandar Wilson. I am the owner of Shockwave Comic Studios and the creator of this nice fine book that you see on the graphic here, Future Shock.
Yeah, Future Shock, man. You got 12 issues out already.
Yeah, been at
So,
it for a little while.
yeah, I think my first question is going to be how long?
Wow. Um, let's see. In all in full disclosure, I am older. I'm an older gentleman, but I have let's see. Future Shock started back in 1989.
Jeez.
Yeah, yeah. It is the characters at least are that old. Um, I actually didn't start making the comic until the 2010s.
Damn.
Before that, I was actually working on a book with a couple of fine gentlemen out of Las Vegas, and the book was called The City of Myth. It was a lot of fun working on that book. I did 5 issues, and after that, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and do my own?
Right.
So I started, and 12 issues later, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly incredible. That's like like 20, 30 years of like having all those characters and then finally pushing it out there.
Yeah, yeah. I think the
Um,
thing that I kick myself most for is why I wasted so much time trying to be a perfectionist on it.
oh yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's a
is what
big
it is.
one.
Yeah.
I know I just went through a little couple weeks of that where I had decided to restructure my comic, and then it was like I was stuck in this phase of constantly restructuring it because I felt like it's just not, the story just isn't perfect. But I got past it. I did move past it, so I'm thankful for that. But I definitely feel like that is something like everybody does in any form of creating art or creating media. Like they get into this phase where you're a perfectionist, and it's
Mhm.
not necessarily a bad thing to be that passionate, but it's like at some point you got to move on. You got to just accept it.
Yeah, yeah. And I tell people all the time, do not chase perfection, chase completion.
Yeah.
The more that you do, the better you get at whatever it is that you're doing. And this goes far beyond just simple comics. You know, it goes for anything. So, don't chase perfection, chase that completion. Because once you've done a thing once, you know you can do it again and again and again.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Um so how did you first get involved in, creating like comics and these characters and stuff like that?
Um, let's see. I remember some of my earliest memories were watching like the Super Friends back during the 70s. I'd watch the Super Friends. Every time that Spider Man would pop up on the Electric Company. And yes, I know I'm dating myself. I know I'm old. Don't worry about that. That's not what's important. The important thing is, every time that I would watch these characters and I'd see them on screen, and it's like, first of all, normal people don't dress like this. This is kind of cool. I enjoy this. Um, Secondly, I wonder how I could do that. And, at that particular point in time, where I lived, there weren't a lot of resources. The best thing we had was like the best thing I had was comics.
Right.
Um, go to like I guess what is it? Like a pharmacy, like kind of like a 7-Eleven or a pharmacy or something. They'd have the spinner rack there, and I'd just flip through the spinner rack, and I'd just be amazed, and I'd look at the books, and I'd read the stories while my mother was shopping, and it was like, yeah, yeah, I want to do this at some point in time.
Yeah. No, that's pretty similar to how I got into it actually. Primarily though, like through school, I got introduced to stories that I liked, and then I tried to recreate those stories in like my own
Mhm.
way, and then from there, that's like kind of where that creative spark came from of like creating my own characters and doing my own stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, let's talk about your comic as it is right now. First question, what is it about?
Future Shock is about a whole lot of stuff. Um, Ultimately, it is a story about redemption. Um, One character trying to do his best to redeem both characters of his family, and the other characters that he ends up surrounding himself with. Um, there is an overall mission to obviously save the world from, nefarious characters, but that's almost like the secondary thing. Like it's mainly about redeeming who a lot of people would think would be unredeemable.
Yeah, no, that
Um,
sounds good. I know I read a little bit of it um when you sent over those files, and it's really good. It's really good. And I know you
Thank
do all your own art and stuff like that, so like genuinely props, dude, to have as many chapters or as many issues out as you do.
well, I do try my best. Writing, penciling, inking, coloring, lettering, editing, which I still need a refresher on the editing part. But um, yeah, pretty much now I'm literally doing just about everything myself, and you know whether I succeed or whether I fail, at least I know I can't point the finger at somebody else and say, it's your fault why this didn't work out, or, this
Yeah,
is all on me. And, I wouldn't have it any other way.
right. Um Okay, so who are the main characters? I know I've seen a lot of your characters everywhere, bro. So yeah, who's
Um,
like the main cast?
yeah, the main cast is, let's see, first we have Black Star. He is, I think, probably the central character and the person who brings about or helps usher in some of the redemption for the other characters. Um, Without spoiling it, because I want everybody to be able to read it. At least the first 3 issues are free on Global Comics. Shameless plug. Uh, shameless plug. I'll drop a promo in a heartbeat.
Hey, this is the
But
place to do it.
yeah, and while you're there, after you've read a Future Shock, feel free and make it your business to read the Legendary Blitz also on Global
Yes,
Comics. Trust me,
sir.
it'll make your inside parts feel good. See, that's how we do that shameless plug. We're promo machines over here. Uh,
Yes, sir. Constantly boosting each other.
absolutely. But yeah, Black Star is the central figure that kind of the story sort of revolves around. Um, with the next upcoming issues, the story will revolve around more so Cameo, who is kind of like the best friend.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And we'll get to see his exploits and see how he deals with some very interesting opposition that comes in the form of his godfather slash trainer,
Okay.
Coltrane. And for those who haven't read Future Shock, just trust me, you'll do yourself a disservice by not reading it.
Yeah.
Just trust me on this. Just go read it. You'll love it. You'll love it. I guarantee you.
It's a great
I
story.
I bet a pack of platypi on
That's a new one.
it. Yeah, I'm a fan of platypi. What can I say?
Hey, can't hate, man. Does your comic have any like central messages or themes about it that you try to get across?
Yes. I already spoke on the redemption part.
Yeah.
The other part really is it's really kind of subversion of certain tropes. Sometimes I'll embrace tropes. Other times I will try to do my best to subvert the particular tropes. Like we've seen the two heroes clash for whatever misunderstanding.
Yeah.
In issue three, you've got two heroes that are clashing. Only this time it's not really a misunderstanding.
Right.
Like, yeah, we're doing this on purpose.
Yeah. No, that's good because everybody they like a good trope. It's just the trope has to be done right, and then you can't just have everything be a trope.
Right, right. And I like the in issue two you've got the loner who doesn't want to be bothered by anybody because he's dealing with his own issues and problems, and then you've got this other guy that comes along. It's like, hey man, you don't have to do all that by yourself. Let a brother help you out. You know.
Right.
And just in case you didn't understand, what I mean by help you out, I mean really help you out. And by the end of the second issue, it's like, I got you. I
Right.
got.
All right. We're gonna move to some behind the scenes questions really quick. I want to take a second and read through chat. Let's see. Ooh, indie interviews. Yeah, we're here, bro. Episode two.
If you didn't see episode one, man, you should. You're putting it on that Tube app, right?
Yeah, episode one I didn't record. I thought I would get a recording afterwards. So this one will be recorded and put on YouTube.
Okay. Okay, because if you missed the first episode, y'all, let me go ahead and tell you, I was there and I sat through them, and it was great. It was a fun time had by all.
Yeah. No, we had Bottleant and Compact up here. Those were some two good first guests to have for sure.
Yes, yes, they were.
Knows, yo, I can't join live on my main. Just made a new account. Well, I did get your request just now, so maybe we'll test that out when uh around 6 when we try to bring you up. Other than that, I think we're all caught up. All right. So, oh, okay. So I know you've had 12 issues out for a while now.
Hmm.
Um what's your like release schedule will look like? When's issue 13 coming out?
Issue 13, I'm actually going to start on it in hopefully early November after I get this crossover finished. I'm currently working on a crossover called Shock United, along with let's see, it's Shockwave Comics. It is the Idleverse, Starcross Comics, Legends Press, and Radical Comics. So you've got some heavy hitters from all of these different companies, and for it started out weird because I just do. Sometimes I do fan art because I like characters. No one asked me to do it. I've always been a believer in ask
Oh, we
for
got a caller.
forgiveness, and yeah. My work decided even the message. Yeah, I left him a message. I can't talk right now.
Indie interviews, man. They gotta get their knowledge up, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, dude, it's first of all, yeah. I'm off the clock. Don't call
Yeah.
me off the clock. But yeah. Let's see. With all of these other creators, and I love to draw other people's characters. Um, we just started talking one day. It's like, yeah, let's come up with a story. I had villains, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. There you go. I
Right?
just
Hey.
started.
No, that's cool though. So like what's the crossover gonna be like?
Ooh, it involves a character called the Singularity that I created. He is a multiversal threat that he basically ends existences across the multiverse because that is his function, is to literally be the end of worlds. And when you have a character that can create black holes, when you have a character that can create black holes, it's like, yeah, it's like everybody wants to call me while I'm getting interviewed. Like,
Right.
leave me alone for a minute. Can you wait until after? I'll send, I'll talk to you after. Good Lord.
Right. Oh man.
But yeah, the Singularity, he creates black holes, and you know, uh, yeah, that's pretty much the sum of it all. He is a multiversal threat that can create black holes and literally end worlds. So our heroes have to band together to stop him and his emissaries, in which I've created some pretty cool emissaries that we all actually now share. So
That's cool.
anytime any of the other creators want to, utilize the any of the emissaries, it's yours also. So, don't, feel free to do so. You know, just don't kill them yet because, somebody else might need them later
Right.
on.
Yeah, no, that's a cool concept. I actually haven't heard of like anything like that where people are from like different comics are kind of like sharing villains. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Like I like to try and think outside the box when it comes to certain things.
Right. Um so what does your writing and art process look like? I'm always just gonna revert back to my mine for like example, but like for me, the way like I usually do it is I'll start off with like some really like short rough drafts, and then I'll move in of like the entire kind of like chapter, and then I'll move into doing like rough drafts of the single issues themselves, and then I'll go in and actually start scripting stuff out, and then I send it to my artists. And I know you do both, so feel free to talk on both.
Okay. Well, my process is weird, and I think it works mainly just for me. But
Right, that's how it goes sometimes.
it's it's done out of expediency. What I'll do is I essentially have the script locked in my head. I now rarely ever truly write anything down on paper. Um, what I will do is I will, come up with my thumbnails. Um, Once I have my thumbnails kind of how I want them, I will, take them, move them over into Clip Studio Paint. Make sure my sizing of the pages are right. And then I will do scripting and lettering at the same time.
Okay.
Once I'm done with the lettering and the scripting, then I'll kind of tighten up my thumbnails, and then I'll essentially skip over the full penciling part, and I'll move directly into the inking phase, and then the coloring, and then adding special effects, and I'll give it a one, give it a look, make sure that all my T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and all the rest of that good jazz.
Right.
And before you know it, the whole page is done.
Yeah, no, that's actually how I almost started doing my comics. When like I started Blitz, I was doing it all by myself. And then like I tried to do it where like I didn't like write anything down at first cuz like I had been
Mhm.
working with like the idea of this story for the last 5 years or so. So it's like going into like finally making a comic, it was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, I got the story, no problem." And then I started drawing it, and that's when I realized, yeah, I don't think I can do it like this. And then I started scripting everything out. um
Yeah, it takes. I'll say this: it takes some getting used to. If you're not used to it, or if it's a method that really doesn't work for you, then you know don't do it. Do whatever makes you most comfortable. Then that's what you go for. If you prefer having a fully written out script, uh, then go with the fully written out script, and you know you can do it like that. Like really and truly, it there's no limit, or there's no set way to do anything.
yeah.
It's really all up to you and what you're most comfortable with. Now working on the crossover, since I didn't have to worry about doing any writing, I'm basically reading the script, I'm doing my thumbnails, and I'm literally drawing everything out. Well, before I draw anything out, I will do the lettering first. That way I know where to fit the word bubbles and all that, and it informs me of how much room I have to work with on the page, if I need to extend the scene, or if I need to cut down the scene, or what have you. It just gives me that much little bit more um information on what I need to do on my end. And Nathan Rouse, the Mr. Unchained Unlimited, he put together a banger of a script, and I cannot say enough about it. It's like if and also Jupiter Man. that he wrote, that he created. It is free to read on Global Comics. You read it for the free 99. I'm telling you, it'll make you feel good.
Them free comics, bro.
Absolutely.
All right. So I know you have crowdfunding going for the volume one of Future Shock.
Yes.
Um, and it looks like here you're about a quarter of the way there. How has crowdfunding been for you?
Crowdfunding is a different type of monster. I will say that. Um, this is the first time I've ever crowdfunded anything. Um, it's been an interesting experiment. And I'm kind of like, you know what? It would be great if I was fully funded, but even if I'm not, it's still okay because I have a plan.
Right.
Um, so, just an FYI for anybody that has not backed Future Shock Volume 1 on Kickstarter now. I will say this: back it, first of all. We can get me across the finish line, but for the ones who have already backed it, let's say I don't make it, which is also, like I said, it's fine. You're still going to end up getting the books
That's
because
cool.
I'm going to personally print out the material for you. And I'm going to make sure that you get it in your hands. So it's going to be a win win no matter how you slice it.
Hey, it's a really good outlook and a really cool thing to do.
Yeah. Like I know that a lot of creators, obviously they love comics and they want to do it. Um, but it has to be financially, it has to be some type of financial benefit for them to do so.
Yeah.
For me, I do work a regular 9 to 5 job that fortunately allows me to, take care of all my needs and a lot of my wants. Drawing comics is it's a love for me. And, you know, I'm not above just sending out comics because I feel like sending them out to people.
Right.
I want people to actually read and enjoy it for what it is because I love and read comics and enjoy them for what they are.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm a weird kind of person. So it's like you know, industry be damned. I'm going to make sure you get these comics. I'm going to make sure you are able to read these comics and enjoy them. And apparently, there are people that I've been able to influence, which is always interesting because it boggles my mind that I have students, some of which are in the chat right now. Hey, Rad. Hey, SOS.
Yeah, no, every time someone like talks to me about wanting to start a comic, I'm like, you can always do the art by yourself and there's a person who will teach you how to draw. His name's Shockwave. Go ahead, hit him up. It's a Meteorite server. He will teach you how to draw.
And I do try. I do try. Um, like there's some truly great talent out there that they just need a little bit of polish, and before you know it, they'll turn into diamonds. I
Right.
guarantee. Um, so yeah, I don't mind doing it. Like I don't charge anybody for it because it's art.
Right.
This is why I'd never make it as a teacher because it's like you're supposed to charge. My wife said you're supposed to charge people whenever you teach them. It's like it's information. It's free, really. If I wanted to teach, then I would go back to school and become a school teacher.
Right.
But
No.
art is what I know, and I don't mind sharing some of the knowledge that I've kind of developed over the years.
Yeah. And like I don't know, I'm on the same page with you right there where it's like it's knowledge. We shouldn't charge for being able to share that information with another person.
Hmm.
Especially with something as beautiful as creating stuff like this.
Yeah.
What are some lessons or mistakes that you've learned along the way? Been a long journey for you.
Ooh. Lesson number one. Pay attention, children. Lesson number
Nice
one.
shockwave.
The relationships that you have with your peers, keep them close and cherish them. And these are life lessons. These are not just simply comic book lessons, but cherish the people that are around you. Love on them. Be there for them. Be good to them, because you never know when they're going to need your support, or you know you need theirs. And the more you are able to strengthen those bonds, the better off you'll be in the long run. um, Lesson number two, children. um, when it comes to your dreams and desires, don't be afraid of putting in the hard work. Again, this encompasses more than just comics.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you truly want to do, um, set a course. You stick to the course. Sometimes it'll, you know, success will hit overnight, or sometimes it can take decades. But as long as you remain on your course, stick to it, and don't ever give up. And final lesson, learn fundamentals.
That's a good one.
Your fundamentals will save everything about what you're able to do. I've run into people who have just the rudimentary levels of fundamentals. They got the fundamentals. They're sound. What they always worry about is trying to develop a particular style or not. No, don't worry about that. You develop a style the more you work on things.
Yeah.
If you have the fundamentals down first, you can do anything after that. So fundamentals are indeed ridiculously important. Okay, those are my life lessons.
Those are some good ones, man. Those are some good ones. Um, how do you balance this? How do you balance this with like work and maintaining a life outside of this? So like, because like this is, and especially for you who like does everything yourself. That's very time consuming, and I know you have your own family, and you just said you work your 9 to 5, and you're obviously still a very jolly and bright person. How do you manage that?
um, One, I drink a ton of coffee. Um,
That's so real.
but outside of coffee, um, it's really a juggling act. Uh, I'm fortunate that I'm kind of flexible on my 9 to 5, where you know sometimes I'm able to get off early because I know there's nothing else for me to do. Other times, I'll you know if I need to, I'll stay over a little bit later. But I always try to do something. Whenever I get home after I've done whatever chores that there need to be done, or just typical housework. I'm putting in at least 4 hours a day on doing something. And it doesn't have to be just strictly on the art. It could be, developing story, doing research. In my case, now finding distributors who would be able to carry the books and ship it across the country. It's always something involving comics whenever I get home, and I'm giving it at least 4 hours, because if I give it any more than 4 hours, and I don't know if my wife is paying attention to this, but she'll kill me. I don't like sleeping on the couch. I don't.
Yeah.
I That's why I have a bed. I don't want to sleep on the couch. So no, I refuse to do so. It's not as comfortable as you would think. So I'm not going to sleep on that couch. No, the devil is a lie. But it does take it takes some true juggling. For some reason, I've managed to pull it off, and I'm still amazed, but sometimes how I pulled it off. But it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
now, I'm babysitting nephews, and I don't understand how I'm babysitting nephews. Ain't nobody cleared this with me. Just pop up, say, "Hey, Uncle Sean, what are you doing here? Who drove you? Did you steal your father's car? What happened?" And they're but they're here, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll watch you for a few hours.
Right.
So, but they're good, rambunctious children, and I still love them no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break to read chat. See if there's anything missed.
Nose, hey, how you doing? Star Comics, how you doing? I've become pretty good at being a co-host too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good. I'm bad at this.
oh my goodness.
All right. Yeah, no,
But
they've
yeah,
been listening. Been
yeah, I'm
absorbing
I'm
it
I'm
all.
glad they have. Yeah,
Mm,
that's something that I get, that people have been absorbing some of the knowledge that I have to give. So,
yeah.
hey, Skyline is in the house. He's still here.
He's up next.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're up next, good sir.
Yes, sir.
And Bad Guy Entertainment has joined in, so it's always good. It's
Welcome,
always good. It's
welcome.
like it's almost like the usual suspects plus a bunch of other people,
Yeah, right.
which I definitely don't mind. I'm loving it.
Yeah. This indie community we have is really something else.
Absolutely, absolutely. And while not dropping any hints, I will say that our indie community is going to grow into something serious.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can see it getting there.
Oh yes, it will definitely get there.
I was gonna pull like $1 million out for every creator.
That would be lovely.
Wouldn't it, man? Oh
But I
man.
think I think I don't think that I should be rich, because I'm going to do ridiculous things with an ungodly amount of money. First of all, the first thing I'm going to do is buy a senator. Um, it's like, why did you buy a senator? Because I can. I got a bunch of money just sitting around. I need to do something valuable with it. I'm trying to flip it and make some more money. That's what people. That's what rich people do. They buy senators and Congress people. So,
That's
you know.
true. That's
That's so
true.
wrong. I said I wasn't going to be unhinged. I said that, but
Shoot, I mean,
sometimes,
all of our senators are bought out, so might as well
hey,
join the game, right?
hey, I live in Tennessee, so there you go. That's neither here nor there.
All
Gurney wants to
right.
know if he has $5 you can borrow.
Not me. I'm broke. Shoot.
I'm not even going. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to be a good person today.
No, I strongly relate with Peter Parker in the new movie, bro.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
It's like I got a job. I'm still broke. Like what? How does that happen? I have
right,
to pay
literally.
accursed bills. Oh, they never should have invented you.
No,
Uh,
for real. All right, let's move into some bonus questions, which is our second to last category.
all
What
right.
is one indie project you think people should know more about?
Mm, I have a top 10 list.
Oh, okay. Feel free to list them.
Okay. First of all, if I'm being perfectly honest, uh, a future shock. That's always going to be my
Yes,
number one.
sir. Yes, sir.
Next, Blitz, the legendary
Yeah.
Blitz.
The legendary
Uh,
Blitz.
Three, Code Breakers,
Code
which is
Breakers,
also
bro.
free on Global Comics.
Yes, dude. Code Breakers is
Uh,
goat.
Number four, Outline.
Outline. Yeah, bro. I just read that. That was good.
It was, and how dare Colin leave me with a cliffhanger? You make me wait. Oh, you are diabolical for that.
Yeah.
Let's see, number six, or was it number five? I forgot. I lost count.
Number 5.
But okay, number five, definitely Jupiter Man.
Jupiter Man.
Number six, also on Global Comics, Black God Comics, Blood Vader.
Oh.
Oh, the brutality. If if you love just wanton violence, it will feel the cockles of your heart. I promise it will. Um, Number seven, and this is a guilty favorite of mine, and I don't even know if you can really call it indie, but I love to do a power bomb.
Yeah.
Daniel Warren Johnson is my spirit animal. That man is like, oh, oh. Uh, okay, two more. Let's see. Oh, almost anything by 615 Comics.
Oh, yeah.
They have been put. Man, my man Malcolm has been putting out some stuff, and his Kickstarters just go wild, and I'm like, oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. 10, 10. Gotta go with Ace Blade.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Ace Blade. There's something about Danny J. Quick's character. It's like I don't know what it is. I shouldn't like him, but I kind of like him, man. He's all right with me. So yeah,
Yeah, those are some pretty good. That's a pretty good top 10 list. Some on there I haven't heard of.
yeah. I'll say this. Obviously, everything I've mentioned are indies, are indie stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Daniel Warren Johnson, a lot more well known than some of us, but the spirit. of it is definitely still there. So, I try to adhere to the spirit of the independent universe.
Right. All right. What is the best creative piece of advice you have received from someone else?
The best creative advice I received from someone else was from Dennis Cowan. A few years ago, I was able to meet him at the Memphis Comics Expo, and it's honestly it's no real secret that he is one of my idols. Um, like I've admired his work and what he does for decades. When I finally got a chance to meet him, I had at that particular point in time I had 6 issues printed up, ready to go. I had a bunch of prints. I took one of everything, took it over to him. I had to find them, but I took it over to him with the express purpose of giving it to him. And when I did, I told him, that I'm a big fan of what you do, and because of because of how you have, what you've done inspired me. This is yours. And he was going to pay for all of it right then and there. I was like, no, no, your money's no good here. This is yours because this is your payment for inspiring me. And I thank you. And the piece of advice he gave me, he said that comics will break your heart if you let it. Now, as you can tell, I've been in this for a minute now. So I can honestly and definitively say that I have not let comics break my heart at all. If anything, it has strengthened my own personal resolve to make better comics, to expand what the independent comic universe actually looks like and what it could be, and support other indie comic creators because not only do we need it, we deserve it
Yeah.
because we work our asses off every single day to give you, the people, our absolute best.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I definitely think like the people who really like are, you can tell they're passionate about what they're putting out. Like you can just see how they're doing like just everything they can to like give the fans like the best version possible. And it's really cool to see. I love to see how everybody's stuff is coming together and talking with them like off live stream and like seeing how their projects are doing and get a little behind the scenes stuff. It's really amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. Um, I'm so. I'll say this: since I really honestly started doing lives and things like earlier this year, um, and for the guys that when I first started, I really first started on Skyline Comics Live. Always a load of fun.
Oh yeah.
I was able to meet him, Meteorite Comics, and Thunder Eye, and all the rest. And it's like when I'm watching from the moment that I started meeting them, watching them drop these books and watching and seeing the progression that they've made. It's not only is it inspiring to me, it's like, man, y'all, it brings it. Man, look, the brother's getting misty eyed, man. I can't help it. I got allergies and things, you know. But I love seeing it. I
Yeah.
love seeing it, and I'm so very proud, and that includes you as well, good sir. Like it, I love to not only see it and support it. Man, look, y'all make me proud to be a fan of yours. So everybody who's coming up next, all I can say is continue to make me a fan. Continue to make me proud. I know you can do it. You got it in you, baby. You got it in you.
Oh, all right. I think we are at audience questions now. The chat can feel free to ask Sean here any question you would like, and he will gladly answer. While that happens, I'm gonna go change out of this suit. I am getting hot.
Yeah, feel free. Like and thank you, Nose. I guess I'll be comic book dad. I don't mind. Um Bad Guy Entertainment asks, since Black Star became Black Star, what trial and tribulation does he go through? What trials and tribulation does he go? Have you read issues 9 through 12? Good sir. I'm gonna need you to go and read issues 9 through 12. I know it's not free on Global Comics. If you want to pay for it, and it's only $1.99. But if you have the gold plan from Global Comics, you can read all that for the free. But all I can say is you read issues 9 through 12 and you will see the start of his trials and tribulations. Because trust me, there are plenty others. In issue 13, you'll find out who his family is and who consists of his family. It's a twisted family tree, I will say that. Um, but internally, as far as his character is, he's stuck between two worlds. He's a character that's stuck between two worlds and two different things that people think that he should be. All he wants to do is what's best for everybody. So there will be some kind of internal conflict there. Um, Skyline said if Outline was dropped in the Future Shock universe, who would be his best friend, his enemy, and possible love interest? Okay,
Mm.
if Outline was dropped into, oh, is that our time?
No, no, no. That it thinks the live's inactive for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
why, but
They don't know what they're talking about.
yeah.
Uh, if Outline was in the Future Shock universe, his friend would definitely be Armstrong because they will talk mess to each other because that's what Armstrong does. He likes to fight and talk mess. He's brilliant, but you know he just like to fight and talk mess.
Straight rage baiter.
Yeah, he is a rage baiter. He does he is no that I can't say that because that will come out wrong. But yeah, he will fight and he will talk mess with the best of them. Okay, what is your perspective on crossovers with your characters? If you come up with a good story, come on with it. I have no I have no issues, problems, or whatever. All I ask is that you do right by my characters and you do right by your characters. Make the best story you could possibly do. And hey, there you go. Just make sure you draw it because I'm
He's occupied at the moment. He's booked
yeah,
up.
my dance card is full. Meteorite asks, does Shade take place in the same universe like Starborn and Bottleland, or are they separate? You know what? you're going to have to ask Shade that. And I can guarantee you, he's going to answer you with a meme. And when he answers you with the meme, just be prepared to reply with your own meme. That's how Shade and I interact and we conversate a lot of times. We'll have 20-minute conversations strictly by meme. And it's the most fun and engaging conversations ever. um, does Black Star have a favorite food? Black Star does have a favorite food. He likes blueberries.
Blueberries. That's tough. I feel like blueberries is such an underrated fruit.
It's filled with antioxidants. It's good for you. It's good for you.
I love
Black Star is
blueberries.
actually a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, where he came from, there was no meat, but you know, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you'll have to read Future Shock to find out exactly where he comes from. Okay, how do you push past through depression and mental health struggles when doing comics? Now, this
Good one.
this is a very good question. Sometimes you have to know when to take a break for your own health because those, that is a very necessary, a very real thing for you. Um, if you are not just simply not feeling it, don't be afraid to don't be afraid to step away for a day or two. Let yourself, recharge. You know, as they say, release, relax, relate. Um, when you come back to it, you'll be refreshed. You know, as far as fighting through depression, I look at depression like I look at fear. Fear is, and it's kind of like an offshoot of fear to me. You can either let fear do one of two things. You can either let it hold you back, or you can let it propel you forward. I'm not the type of person where I want to, continually go backwards. So I let that fear push me and propel me forward instead of saying, like, I don't know if people are going to like this concept or this book or how I'm, or my work or anything like that. I don't want, I think I'll just, sit on the sidelines. No, don't do that. Let that fear push you. Change it around so it's like, if I don't do this, I'm going to have to live with the fact that I didn't do this when I had the opportunity to do this. I don't want to be a 75-year-old man sitting in his rocking chair thinking about what could have been because I didn't do it. And I'm nearing, I'm a lot closer to 75 than I was 25 years ago. I can say that. But so now it's definitely like, yeah, there is no, well, yeah, there's always fear. But instead of letting it hold me back, I let it propel me forward and I use it as fuel in order to do what I need to do. Hopefully that helps you out some. Because yeah, I definitely know how how the mental health struggles and things like that it can be a real hamper on your it can be a real hamper on your self-esteem, on the things that you're trying to do in life and all of that. So you know, I get it. Take the time that you need, but continue that fight because ultimately, your older, the older version of you will look back and smile because you decided to fight. I think that's the best answer that I have for that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's really good. Depression, it's a really hard battle and it's a really hard struggle to get through. And I feel like this advice it extends to a lot of things, not just comics, but a lot of people go through mental health struggles when trying to do something that they love, and
Yeah,
it's really just about reminding yourself why you love it
yeah,
and
yeah.
help and letting that continue to push yourself forward.
Hmm.
Um,
We all need, and also don't be afraid to talk to somebody.
yeah,
Don't hold it all in because the only thing you'll do is you'll end up you'll hurt yourself before you realize it, and it's like, dang, I should have talked to somebody about this. And there are people who give a damn about you out here in this world. You know, talk to me, talk to a therapist, talk to your folks, talk to somebody who cares, and I guarantee you, while they may not have all the answers for you, you will at least know that, hey, this person took his time or her time to talk to me about my issues, and they didn't have to do it. That's what it's all about.
yeah. I think there was one more question for you. Really quick, pocket size, crazy freaking gifts, bro. Going crazy with the gifts. Thank you so much. It's very
Oh, Eli,
appreciated.
you lucky I'm broke.
Same with you, Scrapped Outline. Thanks for the rose and the follow. Much appreciated. Appreciate all the love and the support. Thank you, thank you. Okay, all right. I did find the last question. Would you ever want Future Shock to be in a live action film?
No, I want it to be animated. Why would I pay a bunch of overpriced actors when I can pay that same amount of money to an animation studio that will be able to give me everything I want and more?
It's true.
Like it's cool to fantasize about having a feature length presentation up in the on the big screen. I'm different. I'm different like that. I no, I want my stuff animated. Not the 3D animation stuff. No, 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 no. I need a bunch of I need the finest I need the finest Japanese, American, Chinese, and Korean artists all working together under one house, chained to their desks while we feed them nothing but crackers and water, telling them to make sure that you get this portion of the animation done because our client demands nothing but the best. We have to give the world something, an epic spectacle. I'm talking about we have to give the people Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle on steroids. That's what we have to give them. Yeah, I'm old, but I watch anime too. I don't care what y'all say about me.
Hey.
Doesn't matter.
No, I used to not be too much into anime. I'm still not really into it now. It's more so like if somebody recommends me a show, then I'll watch that show. Because it's like there's a lot of weird animes out there. But I do gotta say, Vinland Saga, greatest one
Oh
of all
yeah,
time,
Vinland
bro.
Saga is built like that. Vinland Saga. I'm not even going to front. Naruto brought me to the game.
Naruto.
Naruto. I mean, I've watched anime in some way, shape, form, or fashion for the past 40 years now. So I'm always going to say that Goku is public enemy number one for humanity. You don't put your universe in danger because you want to feel stronger, just because you want to see how strong you are. You endangered your universe, baby. You should be flogged. Um, Aaron Yeager. Hey man, I'm not saying you wrong. I'm not saying you right. I will say I understand.
Yeah.
Aizen. Aizen. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell Ichigo got out of that one because he had all the captain. He had the whole crew hemmed up. Plot
Right.
armor at its best, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is all the time we have for our first interview. Thank you so much for coming up here, Sean, and telling us about Future Shock. I was actually really excited for this. I like Future Shock a lot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and it has been my absolute pleasure. You continue to knock it out of the park, good sir.
I got you, man. All right. You have a good one, man. Talk to you later.
All right, peace out.
Oh yeah, you know what? We should have called that. We should have done some last promos. Yeah. Future Shock available. First three issues available to read on Global Comics right now. It is amazing. I'm on like the sixth issue now, so I'm getting through it. Um, and he's also got a Kickstarter going. Help him get his goal. He has 8 days left. Get him there. Even if he doesn't hit his goal, he said he's gonna give everybody who supports it a comic book anyway. So you guys really have nothing to lose. Um, but yeah, that was Future Shock. Really good comic. Right. Now let's start changing stuff up here for our next guest. While we do this, do keep in mind we have our own comic, The Legendary Blitz, available to read on Global Comics for free. Issue 0 is out now. We actually just started continuing production on issue 1. So we should see some new stuff coming soon. Issue 1's going to be really long though. But you know what? I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be all right. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Messing stuff up here. See. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind. This is such a good freaking promo picture too. Actually, I think Ord made one for our Kickstarter. Maybe I should start using it. All right, let's go ahead and bring him up here while I change this. Skyline Comics.
All right, hold on.
What is up?
Boy. All right, yeah, we good. We good.
Yo.
Good, buddy. I gotta like pull the mask down. You know,
That's
a little too big, but it's okay.
Heck yeah, bro. I had to change out of mine. I started getting sweaty.
I'm only wearing this for the intro.
Yeah, that was my thinking too.
That was good, bad guy. What's up? Scrapped outline. What's good, y'all? What's up, bro?
What's up? All right. So, for anybody who is either new here or just tuning in, welcome to Indie Interviews Episode 2. This is where we bring up indie creators to speak about their comic. We give them a stage to go ahead and answer our questions that we have for them and really just promote the crap out of what they're making. Our second guest of tonight is Colin of Skyline Comics, creator of Outline, bro. Welcome in. Oh, I think you're quiet there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Can you hear me now?
It's like the same. You sounded really good at the beginning.
This is stupid. Oh. Is it good now?
It is good now.
Okay, so all right. Wait, is it still good?
Yeah, kind of. It's good now. It's just bad quality.
I can't find. I lost my mic, bro. I can't find it.
Oh no.
Sorry, hold on. I might need to leave and come back.
No sound detected. What do you mean there's no sound detected? I'm speaking. There it goes. Oh, dude, this live studio is so buggy. There we go. Dang, he really did blow that goal out the freaking water, man.
Okay, is it good now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna set this up again. Still good.
Now it's like muffled.
I'm gonna just hold it. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's definitely better.
Bet. If it works, then I'm cool with it.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our first question. How did you first get involved in creating comics?
So when I was little, my father and I we used to make like little characters and stuff, but we never really took it serious. And then just randomly, my senior year of high school, I just thought, let's make a comic book. So it was me, my friend Michael. He's also my partner within all Skyline stuff. But yeah, we just made a comic book, bro.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Sometimes, you know what? It just happens like that.
Yeah.
Was there like anything specific that kind of like inspired you or any like specific experience where like that thought kind of came in?
Um. Well, I realized I'm too short for basketball. Um, I can't really sing like that. So what's the next best thing? Writing. So I just decided to take writing a little serious. And then yeah, just they just kind of called me.
Yeah. Um so is that when the idea for Outline began or did you guys like originally start with something else?
So it was always going to be outlined, but the story was different, right? We originally had them based in like Japan.
Oh shit.
But switch the story around. I felt like he could have had a better story for his character, so we put him in Houston instead, and then we switched everything around. But the original story, we're actually in progress of remaking that now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
getting into it.
All right. So let's tell some people what your comic is about. What's the story look like?
Um,
Not like the whole
so
thing. You don't gotta
like,
spoil anything.
okay, got you. Well, I'll say he's a 20-year-old college dropout, and he's struggling with money. You know, he's struggling with the idea of a future because he doesn't have money. So he, tries to find any way possible to make that money, and he ends up working for a criminal, but nobody knows that that guy is a criminal. Everybody loves that guy, you know. So
Hmm.
that's issue one though. That's issue one.
Okay, okay. And who are the main characters in your comic?
Um, so far, Outline or Corey Thorne, aka Outline, and his best friend Ethan Carter. Those are the main characters so far in the story.
Okay. See, what I like about Outline is you're doing like that sort of like working for the villain thing at first. I feel like a lot of people are really into kind of like doing that teen superhero thing. I can't say anything. I'm doing teen superhero too, you know?
I mean, like it's not a bad thing,
Yeah.
but it just I wanted Outline to be more of like I would say a darker story than like the like Spider Man or something like that. I kind of wanted to go Punisher route, so a little Batman ish,
Uh, and with that, the darker stories, they're gonna be like gore or anything like that. I know like Greg, he said kind of like the same thing. He wanted Tap Out Story to be a little bit darker, but he said there's gonna be like no gore or not no gore, but like not like Invincible level gore.
I don't think it's gonna be that big or that crazy, but it's gonna be gore. It's gonna be pretty bloody. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be bad. Oh yeah.
Awesome, yeah, gotta love it. Blitz, seen since like we started everything like a lot differently than how like stories usually start because like it came from an RP thing. Back then it was so chaotic, people would bring in whatever, so it got really gory fast, like before I even knew what Invincible or The Boys was, and so I just had
Yeah.
to go along with it. But over time I like kind of grew accustomed to it, and then Invincible came out and I started getting, or like the show, and I started getting into that. I was like, oh my god, I love this. And then I started taking inspiration like from that for the comic. I don't know. There's something about like just certain like gruesome scenes that get you like this that are like really
Yeah.
good.
I mean, that's how it worked though.
Yeah.
You just find something that just so happened to match a little bit, and then you include it in there.
Right. Um. So does your comic have any like messages or themes that you're trying to get across?
Money is not everything. That's I feel like that's an important thing that people don't really see. Um, People kind of like chase money, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and just I like it's good to have money, but like to chase it and do just kind of give up morality over money is a bad thing overall.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a good one. Like, if we all stopped accepting the concept of money, we'd probably solve a lot of issues.
A lot of issues.
Oh shit. But here we are. Um. So, what does your writing and art process look like?
Um, I kind of always start with, well, I don't know. I kind of start differently when it comes to like separate characters. For Outline, I started with like his powers first, then I just kind of built off of that. Um, but for my other character, the Eternal Blade, I started with her story first because like we already had the story and we kind of just expanded on that. So it's kind of different for each story, but really I just write it as fast as I can and then edit the hell out of it. Just do it like that.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, it seems to be working. Outline issue 1 was really good.
Yeah, appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so how did you find your artists, and what has it been like working with them? I've heard a lot of different stories so far on how people have found their artists. I'm curious.
Okay. So at first, my original artist was my partner, the person I came out with outline with. And then once we came out with that book, like we finished the book, but I read it and it was terrible. I wasn't the best writer at the time.
Right.
So we just like we never dropped it. I'm probably gonna drop it, soon, maybe just randomly. But I got my artist from Meteorite actually. This was like around the time we first met, and he told me that him and Baducci, I think, have the same artist. So I'm like, okay, it's pretty good art. Who's the artist? So I texted him. He said he was down. A year later, we came out with the book. Um, so yeah, I don't really find artists. I kind of get the artist. I kind of get people to like tell me the artist, and then I steal it. That's kind of you know.
Right. Yeah, no, that's see, like for me, and I feel like my experience is very different than what a lot of people have said their experiences were like. Because I went and I made like one post on Reddit because all the other subreddits took it down, but that post got like 50 people to apply through like a Google form thing that I set up. So like for us, it was like rather than finding an artist, we like kind of like had a selection to sort of like go through, and then like once we got down to like our final 12, we're doing like um just rounds of having them draw like Eli in different ways or Blitz in different ways just to see who we went with best or who did it best, and then we went with them.
That's clean.
Yeah, it was kind of a surreal experience. I didn't expect anybody to fill out the thing or at all, but no,
No,
Aura's
no,
great.
that's how it is, though. That's how it is. I've had like a lot of artists, reach out after like reading my book and stuff. Um, so for right now, I'm dropping my third book, and it's all different artists.
Okay,
So
that's
yeah,
cool.
that's something.
Yeah. Uh, kind of doing something similar because like the way I'm structuring Blitz is like I'm doing it where we have like the main storyline, and then there's going to be little like one shots specifically about the characters that are being introduced that will be done by the like I have a reserve team of artists for like just kind of like contacts that I'm kind of like trying to keep in touch with, and they're like they know that and everything, so when the time comes they'll be called upon and we'll go through and um do like those comics in a different style too. So I mean it's honestly it could be viewed as good or bad, but like in certain cases I think it's a really good thing because it's a way to expand on like the story itself, having like the art and the I guess style fit more around the story you're trying to tell. I think it's definitely a good like addition. um So I don't think I have seen any plans. Do you have any plans for crowdfunding?
Um, so every now and then I think of doing a Kickstarter, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. I like when I fully funded Outline, right? It felt so good to actually not have to fund it anymore because it's done. But it's just like I like to work for what I'm trying to accomplish and stuff like that. So I feel like I don't think I'm gonna do a Kickstarter anytime soon. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. And I mean Kickstarters they do always go for like a lot of things. So you could always switch it up to like um when you starting to want to more kind of like mass produce in a sense, like getting it in stores and just wanting to print a lot more.
Yeah,
It's like good for that, and then by then you should have like the fan base ready to support it and everything like that.
bad.
Um What are some lessons or mistakes that you've learned along the way?
Um, your first idea is the worst idea of all time. That
Yeah.
like honestly. Um, it, and also you can't be like there's nothing unique anymore. Everybody's done everything.
Yeah.
So just kind of like put your twist on it the best way you can. That's that's a pretty big thing. Also, your book is never gonna be perfection. You know, that's like if you strive for perfection, then you'll redo your book 30 times and then it will never come up. You know,
Yeah.
so that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah. And to touch back on like there's no new ideas. I feel like yeah, that is a pretty big one, especially for like people who don't really have a concept for a story yet, but they're trying to find one. And
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. People are gonna think I'm copying." And then like you do get people like that. You definitely do, where it's like, "Oh, this story again," or "Oh, this trope again," and it's like, well, it's not that it's happening again. It's happening in a like different way with our own spin on it.
yeah. It's just and also people like to compare characters a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my character compared to Human Torch a couple of times, and my character has nothing to do with fire, so it's just a
Right. Um. How do you balance this with work and maintaining a life outside of kind of all the comic creation and content creation? You do a lot of content creation.
yeah. Um, everything that I do just kind of goes into Skyline. Like I go to work, I'm making money, for Skyline, or it just literally everything that I do goes into building that community, having more people or have more eyes on Outline, me becoming a better content creator, writer, just, everything goes into Skyline, truly.
Yeah. And you know what? That's good. Like especially if you have the opportunity to. Like we're so young to be as far as we are in this space. Like a lot of people who try to do what we do normally don't make it till they're like 30. Um so
Yeah,
to like be where we are and to have progressed as far as we already have, like we're in a really good position to make it within the next, 5, 6 years.
yeah,
So
right,
definitely good to like be able to pour all that into it for sure.
definitely.
Um, what is one indie project you think more people should know about?
All right, I'm gonna copy off Shockwave now. I have a list. Um, so obviously outline code breakers.
Sir,
Um, Blitz again.
yeah,
I've read it. It's peak, bro. That's amazing. Um, Starborn issue 0 just dropped. That is one of the best books I've read in a very, I don't say very, but it is one of the best books I've read in a long time.
that one's good.
Bottleant, he dropped, he dropped a little short.
Yeah, the mini comic.
Yeah. Um, Code Shift as well, or Grim Halo. He
Yeah,
dropped he dropped a Code Shift issue. Um, I could go on and on about indie comics, stuff like that. But I'll say just the ones that's in the community. If you go read those, and next time that they drop, you really will see a difference between the first time they made an issue and then now the next time. All the Future Shock, you can really read the difference between issue 1 and issue like 9. You know,
yeah.
so yeah, that's everybody in the community.
Yeah, no, this community we have, I'll continue to say, it's really something else. I don't think I've seen something to like this extent, you know?
It's just, it's a lot of us, honestly,
Yeah.
and like I feel like it's coming on around like a year almost. Um, it's been big, honestly, and everybody just so supportive. You let us see it.
Right? Uh, what is the best piece of what is the best piece of creative advice you have received from someone else?
Um, honestly, I would. Okay, so my dad, when we was making cake, this was when I was really small, really young. Um, my dad said just put a little piece of like yourself into your characters. Um, like if you're gonna make a character, make it actually mean something to you instead of just making it like a complete stranger. You know. Um, and with outline, I put a little bit of my experiences, personality, or just his character traits kind of match mine in a way. Um, so all of my characters really kind of mean something to me, like on a personal level, and it just make me want to write them better than what I, than just writing a complete random character.
Right. Yeah, and that's I think I've heard something similar about um putting yourself into or putting pieces of yourself into characters. I think especially to like in like an understanding sense, like helping yourself understand the character just a tiny bit better, um, and really help everybody else see that too.
Yeah.
Um, what would success look like for you personally?
When I'll say when I'm just when I can like do this full time, like I won't have to like go walk into a job in the morning knowing that I can live off of selling comic books, or I can, you know, become a content creator strictly for comic books. Once I can do this for full time, then I'll, kind of relax just a little bit, just a little bit
Yeah,
more. But now I'm just trying to, you just got to keep going up, until everybody knows about Outline.
yeah. Now that's definitely a good one, and I agree. Like, I think that might be probably the same for everybody who's kind of doing this. Like, being able to get up in the morning and oh, you got to clock in at your home computer because that's your job. You got to write about the character you love because that's your job, and
Yeah,
being able to provide that to the fans and the fans be able to help me back. That's genuinely probably like the dream. Just having that
nah, it is,
community.
especially, bro. And then like also I want to like do content creation as well than comic books. So like imagine going live, full of like hundreds of people talking about your book, and they're
Right.
just really watching you because you make a comic book, bro. That's a dream, bro. I would love to do that.
No, literally, man. We'll get there, man. We'll get there, bro.
One day it's gonna happen.
Oh shoot. Um so our second to final question here. We zoomed through this. Oh shit. What should people look out for next?
Um, Code Breakers issue 2, right?
Ooh.
That is going to be one of the best issues for Code Breakers. If anyone doesn't know about Code Breakers, it's a collab series with um just a lot of people in the community, and every issue is going to be a different creator's character, right? So issue 1 it is Compact from Meteorite Comics and Outline. Issue 2 we're adding Bottleland, and that is going to be an amazing story.
Excited for
Um,
that.
yeah, we're getting through it. We're almost done with the script. But yeah, Code Breakers issue 2 is gonna be amazing. The Cursed Hanamori, which is gonna be my third book this year, third book this year. Um, we're getting the pages done. It's we're working on this in progress. Um, is I think that's all I have for so far. Cooking up.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now we'll move into audience questions. Everyone, feel free to drop whatever questions you like. Colin here, he's gonna answer them for
I will. Trust and believe.
you.
I wish I could put my phone down, but I'm scared that you can't hear me. So let's
Such
see,
a sucks you lost that mic, man.
bro. I'm very angry at myself. Um, Catwoman, Black Cat type of character. Um, yes, I will say yes. I don't want to say too much, but I will say you will see her in issue two. Most likely, if nothing changes, but yeah, most likely you will see her in issue two. Um, Hopefully, I like the character as well as much as I do. Um, where Outline get a tearful ending, happy. I don't know if it's going. I'll say tearful, but I'm not sure if it's going to be happy or sad. Depending on your point of view. I know how it ends though, and if you really read through like his whole journey, somebody's gonna cry. Somebody's gonna shed a tear. I guarantee it. My fingers are on fire holding my phone right now, bro.
Yeah,
This is
dude. 30
this is
minutes.
something. Yeah, bro. Uh,
Shoot, dude, my cords.
what inspired you to make Outline? Um, well, personal experiences. The Punisher. I kind of always wanted to do teleportation for his powers. But I didn't know how he teleported until I just kind of saw. I don't remember. No, yeah, Escanor. I was watching Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, and he has like light based abilities basically. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Now my character teleports through light. Um, what inspired you to collaborate with Meteorite Comics? Why commit a crossover with another brand and the creator? Cause he's the homie, bro. I like Compact as a character. And like I said, at first it was gonna be like 5 to 10 pages. Codebreaker is gonna be 5 to 10 pages. And then I kind of overwrite I overwrite a lot. So 5 to 10 pages turned to 32 pages and it just kinda happened. We made it a series. Because a lot of people like the Codebreakers. How do you view the idea of crossovers? Apologies if these are too many questions. um, I like so if it was up to me, everybody who has a character could be involved in Code Breakers, but it's not up to me. You have to talk to Greg about crossovers, but no, I like crossovers. It gets everybody involved, and a lot of opinions, a lot of views, a lot of ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Still waiting for Sixfold. Shoot.
It's like I said, it's gonna happen. Sixfold it's gonna be goaded, bro.
Sixfold
My
was.
favorite superhero power. I'm biased, so it's teleportation through light. Shout out Outline. That's the goat. Um, will Outline fight Thanos? And well, I will Outline fight a Thanos type character. Um, I mean, at one point, but the Eternal Blade is gonna fight a Thanos like character before he does. Um, Greg did say Extinct had a chance or has a chance. Hey, tap out solos. Outline beating tap out. No diff. Will Outline ever sacrifice himself in any way, shape, or form? I cannot. I cannot say. So I'm gonna say yes and no. It's a possibility though.
Possibility. How
Possibility.
long do you think like Outline's gonna run for? Because I know everyone's kind of like doing different things for like their stories. Like my story is gonna be really long. It's gonna follow kind of like
Mhm.
that Invincible structure where it's like one continuous story.
So, I've planned out the number of issues. I'm trying to have like short issues, so maybe like 10 to 15, right? But then after his story stops, after Outline story stops, it picks up off of another character that's in his story. And then his name's the Green Phantom, right? The Green Phantom will have maybe a couple of issues, but um, all my characters that I create are in the same universe. So I write and I'm trying to produce the books around the same time. So the timelines would match up and stuff like that. Um, who's your favorite indie character outside of Outline? If I had to choose one, right? Atomics. That's the goat.
Hmm. We've been getting some good art of Atomics lately.
Yeah, bro. If and it's crazy because Atomics doesn't have an issue yet, but when it drops, it's gonna be the greatest issue of all time. Um, do you picture Corey having a girlfriend? Yes. Um, I would hope I, I would uh I would hope his girlfriend lives, but I will say, who knows? Like I've said this so many times. It's like a 50% chance I'm just gonna kill her off in the story, and then who knows what happens? Atomics, that annoying little brother in the indie space, bro. Atomics is the goat, bro. Corey got to get his money up first. Okay, all right. These are not even questions anymore. Y'all just bashing my character. but Man, I'm glad that people like Corey as a character. They know that he's broke. Everybody knows that apparently. Even people that never heard of Outline in their life knows that Corey's broke apparently. So hey, I'm glad people enjoy Outline.
Yeah,
Even if you haven't read his issue, which I most likely will make it like completely free soon. But who knows? Who knows? I gotta speak to some people about that one. Is he gonna have an actual arch enemy? Yes. And he he's gonna hate him. Think of like the Flash and the Reverse Flash. Um, that's gonna be something. How
that
broke
would
is
be
out?
something.
I think Outline is in debt like 40 something $1,000.
Damn, bro,
Student
college ain't
debts.
no joke.
Student debts is real, bro.
That's where my girlfriend went for like she only went for 3 months, but got put like so much fucking money in debt. It's crazy.
And it happens, bro. Um, what's the most amount of money Corey has had in his pocket? All right, so these are just financial questions. Um, well, if we're talking like um starting at issue one, then probably enough to catch a bus. So maybe like $1.25. You know. Did you create a city for Corey to live in? Or oh no, he lives in Houston. Um, I didn't know what city to put him in until I went to DreamCon last year, and then I was like, "Yo, Houston is amazing. I love it. We're putting him in Houston, just like that." What's Corey's credit score? That's a good question. I can't answer that though because I don't know it. But just think of like the lowest thing possible, and then think of just subtract it like 15. Will Allah become rich by the end of the series? I cannot say that. Um, so yes and no. A lot of financial questions. You know,
Yeah.
he has powers, guys. He teleports through light. You know,
Oh man, they want to know if he could buy a house in the next 5 years.
bro. He not now, not now. Oh, outline an extinct ever I can't read. Well, outline an extinct crossover soon. Define soon. It will happen at one point, but define soon. Like how soon we talking? Um, he's actually broke because he donates it all to charity. That is not the truth at all. I'm not even gonna lie on charity. Why can't you just teleport and rob? Well, okay, wait. Why can't you just teleport and rob a bank, then go back and get rich? Because he's not a villain. He's not a bad guy. You know, he's not gonna steal people's money out of a bank. At one point in a month or two tops. Um, I don't think in a month or two, but who knows? Can he not use his powers if he's trapped in a place without light? It has to be like complete darkness, like no light at all. Then if he's out of light energy, then he can't teleport. He would just have to find his way out. Um, how does he get his powers? Through an explosion. He gets his power through an explosion. That was very I took like hard inspiration from CW Flash. I was rewatching it, and while I was rewatching it, I was making a comic book. I put some things together. CW Flash is so goaded, bro.
Yeah, for real. I definitely did the same back because back when we had the RP stuff, we didn't really care about it being original when it first started. So it was just about combining IPs. So we definitely had like a lot of stuff like that in there.
More specifically, seasons 1 and 2 of CW Flash,
The best
the,
ones, dude.
the best ones, bro. Um, would it be an evil version of Outline? I will say at one point Outline. No, I'm not going to actually say anything. Yes and no. Outline versus Electro, who wins? I would think Outline wins. Um, season 9 Flash. I haven't got. I'm still on season 8 because I took a break once Iris didn't die, and then I was just so upset that I couldn't finish it for like a month or two. Is there any chance Outline could lose his powers even temporarily? Um, you could. Okay, so you could take like the light energy from Outline, but you would have to kill him first to do that. It's not like you can just remove the light and then he goes outside and he can't get that light back. You know. I already read that. What role would he be in Marvel Rivals? A tank, definitely a tank. He's very durable and he can go intangible. Not for too long, but he can go intangible, and he does that to teleport. So he would most definitely be a tank.
Tank that could go invisible, bro. That'd be sick, actually.
Definitely, bro. We need it actually.
Yeah.
Let's talk to some devs, bro. Any plans for an alternative suit for different situations? So at first I kind of thought that I would like created outline to where he couldn't have like alternative suits, right? And then I had an artist send me some art, and she made it so different. It gave me ideas. So outline will have like different colorways, but it will most likely be like around the same aesthetic and stuff like that. Logo in the middle, um, the little white markings everywhere. We have different colors. Yeah, yeah, he'll have different colors. If let's say he goes to like a different planet and the sun is different there, then he would turn into like a different color most likely. So yeah,
That's pretty
I
cool,
mean,
actually. You have any plans for like Outline to go to like different planets and stuff like that?
oh yeah. I will say this: the eternal, not the cursed Hanamori, right? that whole like series is like it's like a alien versus assassins type of story in a way. So um, and it's all in the same universe. So the one of the main characters, the Eternal Blade, will team up with Outline, and they will go to space one day.
That'll be sick.
It's gonna be amazing.
All right. Any other questions for Colin? Probably got it 5.5 minutes left.
Gotcha. Um, I'll take financial questions as well, guys. You know, perhaps a more basic question for you: what is Outline's height? Um, so it's actually funny because I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but my actual height is 5'8", right? But I like to lie, you know. So I like to tell people I'm like 5'10", you know. But Outline is 5'11", but he's gonna lie and say he's 6 foot, you know.
That's cool.
Does he have any pets? Uh, and yes, yeah, he has a dog. Um, I put my actual dog into a book, but like I never had her created just yet. But yeah, he will have a dog eventually. Um, what's his favorite music artist? Uh, that's a good question. I'm making a like an artist in my universe, right? And that's gonna be like his favorite artist, but I haven't come up with a name just yet. Um, we know you're broke. Okay, all right. That's not even a question, bro. But okay, all right. Um, I'm finna be taller than you, bro. Okay, these not even questions. What's outlines type in girls? Uh, I would say somebody that makes him a better person. Because you know, throughout the story, he's not going to be the best, you know, the best person in the world, but he's going to have some people to help him out. And yeah, what was he like in high school? He was happy, you know. He didn't have any student debt. He was still with his friend Ethan. He was pretty happy, you know. And then once college hit, the things didn't work out. He had to drop out, and now student debt, you know.
That is how it goes.
Yeah, bro. I'm so glad I didn't go to college
Yeah.
for life though. I'm so happy. How broke are you? Are you asking me or outline? Because I'm not doing as bad as him. I can tell you that. No spoilers, but uh how did he get in tune with this boss? Um, well, it's not really a spoiler now because like the book is out. But if y'all go read the first issue, y'all can see exactly how he ended up working for the biggest criminal in the world.
Outline issue 1.
Issue one. It's gonna be free on Global Comics real soon, fellas, real soon. It's technically free now with gold, but you know it's gonna be free without gold real soon. Um, when is the next con you're going to? So me and my brother, the person who actually asked this question, we went to DreamCon and we almost sold out completely. And if I would have like asked people if they wanted to buy a comic book before, then I probably most likely would have sold out. But you know, we just went there for the vibe. We went there to chill, hang out, I have a good time. But next con probably going to be in September, Baltimore Comic Con. If everything works out and I can get these issues out beforehand. Um, he couldn't work for nobody else because he obviously ain't getting paid. You know that's a big thing. He tries to work multiple jobs, but you know it's a lot of debt. And how long are you gonna like continue to work and then not see like a big difference in the debt that you're in.
Yeah.
But with the jobs he was working, he probably would have got out of debt 4 years from now. Do you have physical copies yet? I actually have 9 physical copies with me now. Um, if anyone wants to buy one and I could go to you, then you know that would be amazing. I got the comic bad, bro. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Like, yeah.
No, yeah. I'm definitely getting more issues out soon. Um, and I'm gonna just try to put it all on TikTok Shop. You know, we gonna see though. If I can get this shipping to work,
Yeah.
because it's not free shipping. I can tell you that now. My Corey hairstyle remained the same throughout the course of the story. I kind of regret giving him dreads. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of artists can't really draw dreads the way that way that I think, the way that I think he should have dreads. But I feel like it makes him a little unique in a way. But I do regret giving him dreads. So who knows? It might possibly change throughout the story. He was in an explosion, so you know he might be bald issue too. You never know. What arcs are planned for Outline? He will be in space one day. He will have a space art. Um, but for right now, he's just a city level, street level type guy. What does he get? Oh, or does he get an outfit change? Yeah, he will have different colorways, but not like a complete outfit. Give him the Killmonger cut. Can you ban him? Is that possible?
I could, but he's our next guest.
Lucky, bro. You're lucky. You're lucky. Read my comment. What's the comment? How broke are you? Is that the comment you want me to speak on? Give him the Miles Morales PS5 cut. Yeah, let's ban him too. I don't know. I like his dreads now, but I don't know. I don't think that's easy to draw.
Yeah.
I got some mission in space Outline can help with. Bet, bro. Like I said, Outline is for the people for right now. Once I get big, I'm switching up on all my. Yeah. Like I said, I love that people enjoy Outline though. For
Yeah.
real. It's a lot bigger than what I thought it would be around this time specifically. Like I said, I started this like a year ago, or I started taking it serious like a year ago, and the fact that a whole entire community knows about Outline is just crazy to me in general. So once I like start streaming and stuff, I can just imagine how many people will already join, and I won't have to start from complete zero.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What historic period of time will Outline thrive slash struggling the most? That's a that's a good question. You tell me. You tell me, a random guy. What do you think? Where does Outline scale power wise? Um, so uh, uh, something that I actually kind of like that I do with Outline is he's not like overpowered to like other people in like their own universes. If Outline went to like a Marvel universe, he wouldn't last too long. But um in my universe, he's kind of crazy, honestly, and like not a lot of people can actually beat him. So like right now, at least, not a lot of people can beat him, but they have leverage and like manipulation over him. So he ends up losing a lot of fights. Um, and it's not like Mark that he just doesn't lock in and he gets beat every time. Nah, it's like outline wins some fights. Um, what superhero book? What superhero comic book team do you think Outline would fit in? Midnight Suns. No, no, Defenders. The Defenders. That's actually great. Other than the Code Breakers, that of course I do enjoy outlining. I truly can't read. I do enjoy outlining Skyline Comics, keeping an eye out for the future. Thank you, bro. Outline is definitely going to um, be a huge character. I feel like, and I hope a lot of people outside of the community get to know Outline a little bit. Is Outline broke like you, Colin McLemore, real name Raymond? Okay, you spelled my last name and my first name wrong, but I'm not broke like him. And that's crazy. You remember my full name, bro.
I got called by his government name.
I mean, yeah, but other than that answer, I don't know what you mean, bro. I'm sorry. What existing comic villain would be a good arch nemesis for Outline? Lex Luthor. Um, or if you want more like a super powered villain, then probably like Sinestro. I feel like that'd be a good fight.
That'd be cool, actually. Yeah.
Can you say some motivational quotes? Are y'all sure y'all want me to do that? Matter of fact. Here's how much time we got left. I
Uh,
can.
you can keep going. It's all right.
All right, bet. For my motivational quotes, I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate the support for Outline and all of my comic characters, and you also can. It's CJ. Okay, bet that's CJ. All right, bet. You also can create something of your media that you love. You can create anything that you want, but that don't necessarily mean you got to do that because we need plumbers in this world. We need electricians. So just look. If you like comic books, that's cool. If you want to make comic books, that's cool too. But try to get that degree. Try to go. try to learn how to be the cable man, bro. We need doctors in this world.
Yeah. Shoot.
What any comics would you like to write? Um, Radiant Black. I'm not gonna lie. I took some inspiration from Radiant Black too. Especially pacing wise. I would love to write just an issue for Radiant Black. I feel like that would be amazing. Nah, he not touching any lantern. Who outline the scenario? That would be a good fight. Outline is extremely fast, like
Yeah.
extremely fast. It's teleportation. Any class you would want to do outside of Code Breakers. The Sixfold.
Yeah. Sixfold, bro.
You know, but no, I don't think I have anything planned. Unless like anybody anybody crazy want to have like a collab one day. Extremely fast and extremely broke. Okay, I think that's my time.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
Sixfold. Yeah. I'm not sure how much I can speak on the Sixfold, but it's a collab. You know, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be very peak. Which game universe will Outline fit in? Uh, I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like I would just make my own game for Outline, honestly, and it would be something like open world. Um, it'll either be open world or like Dispatch. One of the
Mm.
two. Dispatch was a really good and enjoyable game, so I would probably make like a Dispatch game for Outline. Actually, I would, cause I would want to see like the decisions y'all make as Outline. That would be amazing.
That would be sick as hell, actually.
Cause like imagine Outline working for the villain, right? But like you control all the decisions. That would be amazing. Um, Extremely fast and extremely broke too. You just doubled up. You didn't have to do that. Can Outline beat Goku? No, no. I just
Oh
gotta think
gosh,
of
bro.
a good for indie crossover. Oh boy. Can Outline beat Vex? Yes, yes. Outline is beating Vex. No diff. No diff. Um, but yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is all the time we have for. Dude, that was like 20 minutes of them calling him broke.
Like, it happens, bro. I guess. It's all fun and games till y'all see Outline with $1 in his pocket, bro. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Oh shoot. But yeah, no, thanks for coming up here, being the second guest, talk about Outline. This was fun.
So, thank you, bro. I enjoy these interviews. I'm not gonna lie. I've watched every single one of them. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. Well, we got one more guest tonight, so
Right.
but other than that, thanks for coming up. And
Yes, sir. Thank
talk
you.
yeah, no problem. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Damn, bro. Ella just got trashed, dude. Oh man. All right. That was good. No, I think Colin has a really funny like community around Outline. They meme him a lot, I feel like. Right. Time to shut up the next interview. Alright. Oh, I'm messing stuff up. Oh, I'm touching stuff. Oh no, I changed the wrong text. That's not good. Oh great, I'm pressing a bunch of buttons. Tap out solos the Indieverse. I keep seeing that, man. I think you gotta prove it. Like how Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. What's your idea for another indie crossover, Shockwave? Hi, Mom. Love you. That's a good question. Is he still here? Hopefully he answers that one. Okay. Now for a project I have never heard about until he submitted. I am excited to learn about. Wow, this stuff flies. I can't believe we're already 2 hours into this. As I look on mobile. Oh, it looks not even in frame on mobile. What the heck, man? Oh, let me scooch over. Have I really been like this the whole time? That's crazy. Oh shoot. All right. Yes, he just requested. Let's go ahead, bring him up. Oh, it doesn't let me have my mobile preview when I bring a guest up.
Yo, what's
Hello.
good?
What is up? How are you doing today?
I am doing good, honestly.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Thank you for getting me on here on that stuff.
Yeah, no problem, man. Wanted to make sure you came up and everything. I'm excited to learn about this.
Yeah, so, pretty much, it's the creation of a super autist, pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
So, give me the questions, question man.
All right. Real quick, let me do this intro. For anybody who is new or just tuning in, welcome to the second episode of Indie Interviews. We are about 2/3 of the way through. Just did 2 interviews before. If you don't know what this is where we bring up indie creators and have them talk about their comic. Give them a stage to just go ahead and give us information and answer our questions, stuff like that. So, without further ado, we'll hop right into it. Our first question is, how did you first get involved in creating comics?
Okay, so, with me and that stuff, how I first got involved with creating comics was more or less of I found that comics was the best medium for me to adapt my story. With, I mean, I've had the idea for the finalists ever since I was 7 and that stuff. But then, when I got in like a really bad accident that put me in the hospital for like for like 3 weeks and that, for like a month and that stuff,
Wow.
the only thing that I could do was draw and that stuff. So, I just started drawing my characters and that stuff, and that, made me like doing comics and that stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, there's nothing more, I guess, entertaining to do than draw when you have literally nothing else to do.
Yeah. I
um,
mean, um, yeah, actually, no, never mind. You go on.
all right. Um, was there any specific like comic or creator that kind of like was like inspired you to start making your own stories and stuff like that?
Oh God, I am inspired by basically everything. I do what I call the George Lucas method, where George Lucas, when he was creating Star Wars, me and him, he creates Star Wars, that's sci-fi. I'm creating finalists, that's sci-fi, and that's so basically he took everything that he liked. He took everything that he watched and that stuff and listened to, and just kind of put it into one thing and that stuff. And that's what I do with the finalists. Like that's kind of like George Lucas really inspired me in that stuff. Then Robert Kirkman really inspired me too in that stuff. And now like recently Radical Comics and that stuff. Um he like really inspired me in that stuff. Shockwave. He really inspired me. And also one thing that inspired me is, well, not really inspired, but I guess in a way, is I want to prove to one of my to a friend who I cut off, that I am better at them in terms of art. So yeah.
Nothing wrong with having some motivation. No, it's really cool though. And honestly, I think the best stories are told from uh stuff that you love. With my own story, when we started uh well, I started an RP server way long ago, and back then like there wasn't really any focus on like making a comic or making our own universe. The idea was just bring in what you like, so we had like all sorts of different IPs being brought in: Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Pokemon, all sorts of like different cool stuff. And then um when I started like kind of wanting to actually do something with it, that was when we started making those changes, and rather than just taking that stuff, using it as inspiration. And I think because of it, like the story that I have and is like really good just because it comes from everything that we loved, you know. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a really cool and honestly probably the best way to tell a story.
Yeah, no, you know, I'm like the biggest like giga nerd and that stuff. I mean, I've watched a 13-hour video on Bionicle lore and that stuff. That's how like much of an autist I am.
Hey, you know what?
'Cause
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
unironically have autism. You know.
Yeah. So let's talk about your comic. What is it about?
Okay, so right, the finalists. What essentially it's about is a a kid named Nose Lothbrok, right? Actually, hold on. So for basically, right, like the entire like the finalists, it's more of a setting than a comic and that stuff, right? Like I mean, I've told many people that it's more along the lines of Halo than DC and that stuff, but the main finalist story is right this kid named Nose Lothbrok, who my mascot or whatever. He was born on the planet of Lotus Five. Thing about Lotus Five is that it was also the home to the Insurgency, which is like the main bad guy faction that stuff. Um, that's pretty much led by, but that's pretty much led by humanity's like greatest general to ever live and that stuff. And all this stuff, taking place in the year 9053 and that stuff. And, there's also stuff, about, space magic, the Aether. Um, but, after Nose's mom died, after Nose's mom died, during a evacuation that stuff he was brought to his dad, which his dad is essentially the Lord Sovereign, or how I basically explain to people, King Space Jesus. You know
King Space
um
Jesus.
yeah, and so because Nose can use what's it called, can basically use space magic or whatever. He's put in a team with two other teenage space magic people on that stuff to try to take back the key world of Lotus 5 and that stuff. And like that's just the very beginning, right? Like the first arc in that stuff is called This Is War. Because um I name all of my arcs and that stuff after songs that I listen to. And
That's
so
cool.
This Is War is named after the 30 Seconds to Mars song of the same name. And and it also shows that this is it is war. It's a story about war. Also another thing is, right, I mean, the finalists, it is just straight up space fantasy, right? I mean, I set it up so that all three of the finalists, from left to right, Mantle, Nose, and Tekkit, um, they they essentially fit D&D party roles and that stuff,
That's cool.
where and that stuff, and there's a bunch of it's massive lore on that stuff, pretty much.
Right. And on the topic of war, does your comic have any like messages or themes within that it tries to get across?
Yeah, so right, the main theme of it is what defines humanity, what defines being human. Because right, like I mean, as growing up, with all this political stuff happening, there's people calling other people, they aren't human, because they live. And you know to me, and the protagonist answer is to be human is to, have love, to have hope, and to have will. But, the antagonist answer is humanity is a single species. It is that humanity is a group and not an idea. But, sorry. Humanity, basically the main theme is humanity is a idea. Said idea can be lost, but it can also be gained. The antagonist, like counterpoint to it is humanity is one group only.
That's cool. That's good. I feel like there's not a lot of comics out there with like a pretty big theme like that.
I mean, like with the insurgency and that stuff. I mean, I based it off of, I based the main villain off of, the Confederate General Robert E. Lee, and I based the Confederate itself off of, I based the insurgency based off of the Confederacy, like from the Civil War and that stuff, because, they thought only white people were human. They thought humanity was a group and not an idea that anyone or anything can have.
Right. That's actually pretty cool. To see like old history like that, but be kind of like put in a sci-fi setting almost.
Yeah. I mean, what's it called? Like all my, sorry, I'm trying to think.
No, you're good.
I mean, the entire, like, I'm a history nerd. I'm a nerd in general and that stuff, but, I use mass amounts of, history and that stuff to, shape the way how I write. And, also, like, thing with me and that stuff, and, I live in America,
Yeah.
to me and that stuff, right? Growing up, I thought, America, was this shining, beacon on the mountain, that stuff, and then it almost felt like, my country got invaded by hate, and that, hate just sprung out of nowhere and that stuff. I know that's me growing up and that stuff, but it felt like, as I grew up, hate was literally invading my, my home and that stuff. And so the finalists isn't a story of, of preserving the status quo. It's fighting back against like essentially the literal fucking forces of entropy,
Yeah.
to hate and that stuff, and also realizing, what we have is not perfect and we must change it. It's right. If something like this can't happen and that stuff, then we must make sure that it can never happen again. We must change the fundamental systems that allowed it to happen.
Yeah. No, that's definitely really good. I've recently gotten into history a bit myself, so that definitely has me interested. It actually leads into my next question. I don't think you have anything out yet, but so what does the future release schedule look like for this first issue?
Okay, so right, the thing about me and like the finalists is, right, I live in the middle of bum hell nowhere, suburbia, right? Like the nearest comic shop, the nearest the nearest bus station, right? That's an hour walk away. The nearest comic shop is 2 hours drive away. Like, and so with me and that stuff, I always thought, the entire thing of like issues and that stuff, like, I grew up, reading like graphic novels, like from my school library, right?
Yeah.
Reading in like the big collections of like volumes and that stuff, from my school library. And so, that's And so, like, what I plan on doing is pretty much instead of releasing it, what's it called? Instead of releasing it, issue by issue, I plan on, doing, I plan on releasing a entire arc in that stuff or something like that. You know, like, like basically an entire like graphic novel or something like that, right? Um, Releasing it at a time and making sure that putting it in grocery stores, putting it in in gas stations, places that like kids, I'm not a kid and that stuff, but kids who were like me and that stuff,
Yeah.
who live in suburbia hell and that stuff, can can get the latest issue and that stuff, and releasing it not monthly and that stuff, but, maybe every 3 months and that stuff, so you don't have to constantly like try, so you don't have to constantly try to get everything and that stuff, and you have time to breathe, you have time to get read other books and that stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely right there with you. I think one of my biggest issues getting into comics these days is there's so much already out there, and then like there's so many different storylines. It's like, where do you even really start to read one comic? And then how many more comics do you have to read outside of that storyline to like know what's leading up to it and all of the like back knowledge and all of that? So I definitely think that's like a really cool kind of structure you got. Uh, what does your writing and art process look like? You do all your own art, right?
Yeah, I do all my own art. So um for me and that stuff, whenever I'm doing art, you know I my art process pretty much, right? It starts with me pretty much like fucking LARPing, like, and I'm using it in the correct context. Live action role play. You know, I actually like act out like whatever scene or panel and that stuff, so that I get a feel for like what my characters would do and that stuff. Like actually like physically get into the feel. Then references and that stuff, and you know write, and I just start drawing and that stuff. But then for like doing comic pages and that stuff, pretty much what I do is I write what I call broad strokes and that stuff, where it's I want to like where I roughly want to get the story and that stuff, and like the emotional impact that I want, right? Like if a page, is, right, like instead of like writing out each panel, I'll write out like how I want like how I'll want like the entire page to feel and that stuff, right? Like if there's a battle scene and that stuff, I'll write, make it feel like there is, like it's rushed and that stuff, and kind of like you're reading a novel pretty much and that stuff. And then I let myself um fill in like the gaps in between that stuff, and I've realized, like, when I have, with me being autistic, right, when I make a rule on that stuff, right, I stick to it, and I feel like I'm and I feel like I'm sinning right before God, if I break in that stuff. And so if I let my rules be loose and that stuff, then that allows me more flexibility to make something and make my art better and make my story feel better.
Yeah, for sure. And like everybody, like I will definitely say, I know me and Shockwave just talked about it. Everybody does have a process that only works for them. And like, yeah, sure, it may work for other people, but like it really is all about just what works best for you. And that's a really cool way to do it. I tried to do it when I first started out. I tried to do it where like I kind of like had the story in my head and then tried to draw the pages, but I think me trying to visualize it in my head rather than on paper, like led me to like missing out on certain things that I wanted to be added, or um like the story kind of like changes a little bit kind of like throughout it. So for me it just worked best to do kind of like the traditional scripting, but it's cool to hear your way.
Yeah.
um have you learned any lessons or mistakes throughout this? I know you are pretty early, but
Yeah, no, I'm early in that stuff. One thing, sorry. One thing I gotta say is I try, like what's currently on, what's currently up there is not, you know, I mean, that's art and that stuff from a pretty long time, from a decently long time ago and that stuff. And that's when I was in, the headspace of I have to make my stuff, be super stylized. You know, there's a reason why there's the saying style over substance, because I was so just like, you know, I was so obsessed with, making my style that it prevented me from improving art in general and actually hindered me. And, once, I just let go of the style and, just focused on doing like my maximum effort and like with the fundamentals I know, then I was able to make stuff. I was actually able to make better stuff. I have, I'm left-handed, one, and my left hand has a bunch of nerve damage from said, car accident. And so, super sharp lines and that stuff. But it's kind of hard to fight against something and that stuff. But when you're working with it, like how my current art is, it's way better. So also, if you have, something that limits you, other than, like something that physically limits you, other than, knowledge or whatever, don't fight against it. Work with it, I mean, I learned to like, my shaky lines, how messy the art is and that stuff.
right. No, I definitely agree with you. There is a certain extent to where you need to understand that it's not going to be perfect. And that's okay, because in the future, you'll be 10 times better than you were today. It's all just about giving everything time. um, how do you balance making this with work or school and maintaining a life outside of this? I know Shockwave, that man works 9 to 5, has a family, and then still does this 4 hours a day and is super freaking jolly and happy all the time. So, how do you manage stuff like that?
So, right, with me and that stuff is one, um, I'm unemployed, I don't got a job, two, I'm a Nepo baby. My dad makes weapons for the U.S. military.
Hey, there you go.
Um, three, I'm disabled and I get, money from, the government, so I can buy just random shit, I guess. I'm joking. Um, and pretty much, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, right? I can't, you know, I don't balance stuff, I mean, I'm just being truthful in that stuff. I'm I'm the last person you should be asking how do you balance this stuff, because, I'll go on, a month where, I produce just genuine immaculate, like perfection, that's it. And then there'll be a month in that stuff, where I'm just so burnt out that I just bed rot, for days at a time and don't get anything. But,
Mhm.
it's the thing of, the fact that I'm aware of that means I can improve in that stuff. And, it's balance is hard, balancing on a rope, pretty fucking hard, not, a lot, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more people who have died trying to balance on tightrope than there is people who have lived
Yeah.
balancing on a tightrope, personally. And, it, it's hard and that stuff, but, shit, man. I got hit by a fucking car and that stuff when I was 12, coma for
Damn.
2 weeks. Shit, I can handle doing art and chores and this other shit, and when you've died, when I've almost died, like 4 times throughout my life, it's it's kind of it's kind of hard to it's kind of easy to say you've sorry it's kind of easy to say, well, you've gone through so much stuff, how about you give up and that stuff. But then also, but what you gotta say instead is, you went through so much shit, but you went through so much shit, but don't be a bitch and get up again. I mean, I literally have it. I mean, I literally have the poster of Rocky saying, doesn't matter how many times you get hit. It doesn't matter how many times, how hard you hit, about whatever, how many times you stand up or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good topic to talk about is burnout, and especially in any sort of field where you're creating something. It's good to take those breaks, and like I definitely go through like the same thing where like I get so burnt out that I sit there in bed rot for days, and it's definitely like I won't say it's good, but it's also not bad because like once you kind of hit that stage, then you're like you pushed yourself a bit too far. So that's kind of like your body's way of forcing you to take that step back and allow yourself to take a break. But it is really hard, especially when you know you kind of look at this as a job. I know a lot of people like they look at it not as a job in and of itself of what a job is, but as it's something I have to spend my time and spend my focus on and really push it. And just like any other job, you need to take breaks. You need to have off days. You need to have time in order to do something outside of it.
Well, sorry, like with me and that stuff is, uh, this to me, this isn't a job. This is what I am, and I know, it sounds, like, I'm being corny or whatever, and that stuff, saying, "Oh, my art is who I hate." I mean, I've literally told my parents like straight to their face, like, I'd rather, die, I'd rather die broke. I'd rather die broke. I'd rather die being a broke ass hobo. But my comic, you know, millions of people enjoy my comic rather than be, rich in, eating, sushi off, eating sushi or whatever, while wondering, what if I made my comic? I'd rather die wondering what if I didn't instead of living what if I did? Because, you know, with how much fucking health issues and that stuff I have, you know, you know, like, if I, I could, die, pretty easily. But, stories and ideas are essentially immortal. I mean, the Odyssey. I mean, that shit has survived for like 5,000 years. I mean, you can fact check me on that. Homer, he's dead. I mean, shit. I don't know. He's been long dead, but his stories is what survived. Stan Lee, he's dead, but his stories are what survived. just what's it called? Just because a flame burns out does not mean that the forest fire goes out. Does not mean that the forest fire. Sorry. Oh my god, I should really drink some water.
I
Know,
just ran out of my water.
but yeah, pretty much, you just gotta keep, you just gotta keep on going that stuff, and the main, the three principles, of my book and that stuff, love, hope, will, and that stuff, is what keeps me going. Cause right, I have a love for this, right? Have a love for making my comic. I have hope that I will be able to that I will make it and that stuff. And I have the will to do it, And,
Yeah.
Any more questions on that stuff?
We have, I think, one more, or two more, technically speaking. What is one indie project you think people should know more about?
I'm a copy Shockwave, like Colin did, and that stuff. So first of all, indie project, The Finalists.
Yeah,
Ano-
finally.
Another indie project. The prequel to The Finalists. Set about like 6,000 years before at the aspirant. And then the second prequel that takes place billions of years before current finalists, the Empyrean Chronicles. But you know what? That's just one spot. I'm gonna do the shit that everyone has said. Variant Comics, Blitz, pretty sure. Do that shit. Another thing, Radical Comics, Voltage. That he's my homeboy. We've been playing Helldivers and we've been playing Space Marine 2, and I got him into Warhammer, and so I think I've spread my autism to him slightly and that stuff. Also, another one, Orbital Void Comics. Follow that dude. He's another sci-fi guy. I have a superiority complex about everyone else is doing superheroes while I'm building an entire fucking sci-fi world with entire fucking cultures that will probably only be mentioned once. The fucking my fucking characters, they fight entire fucking armies. Giant ass robot mechs and that stuff that they sword fight fucking tree demons from space hell. Orbital Void. He is fucking amazing. Another thing, just the bottle ant, what the fuck, meteorite and Skyline Comics, that shit too. What's it? Honestly, Extinct. Fucking Extinct and that stuff. Extinct is I fuck with him and I fuck with the character, Dinosaur Ben 10. That shit's kind of fucking fire. You know?
He's had a come up too. He just started posting and he's been doing really well, so good for him.
Yeah, mainly focus on, the fucking GOAT, Rad Comics. But then, comic dad himself, Shockwave, future Shocker whatever. Then I guess shit. I mean indie kinda. I mean not like our space indie, but it is like in the indie comics thing. Exquisite Corpse. That story is fucking phenomenal. You gotta get that shit.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. All right. Next we move on to audience questions. So, everyone currently watching the live, if you have any questions for Nose here, feel free to ask him and he will answer them for you. Honestly, I think this is a really cool concept. This is the first indie story I've seen outside of superheroes. So, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, I've been, you know, second arc and that stuff. All I'm gonna say is, robot space, robot space Catholic Crusaders. Do you have a favorite character you made? I'm gonna be real with you, right? Other than Nose, because that's my literal that's like dead ass my mascot and that stuff. The main character, the kind of like the character, the kind of like main antagonist for like the third arc, would probably be my second favorite character, Samex, and that stuff. Basically, robot paladin, but he gets he gets pissed off at Nose for dishonoring him, and then Samex becomes a for not executing Samex because he didn't execute a bunch of humans and that stuff. He he gets called he gets called a heretic or whatever, and that stuff, but can still be redeemed by essentially robot space pope and that stuff. But basically, like, his entire story is like, even though he was born without a soul, he still proved what it meant. Even though he was born without a soul, he was still able to prove what it meant to be human.
That's pretty cool.
Any questions? We only have 4 viewers. Yeah, I kind of figured this. Who are the 2 other characters? So, thank you, J Arts. So the 2 other characters behind Nose, right? Mantle. Basically her entire story is that her dad was essentially like, the biggest like space gladiator, pretty much. But he spoke out against the insurgency, so the insurgency sent a fucking hit squad to kidnap him and that stuff, and so that's what she has against the insurgency and that stuff. And her entire space magic thing and that stuff is she can basically use like reality. She can like pull threads of reality and that stuff and weave it into like simple stuff, like her axe and that stuff. She weaved that and that stuff, and she basically uses the pole and that stuff to a pike, a sword and that stuff. And then and also, like, one things with characters is I like to give my characters very simple powers and that stuff, because limitations build innovations and that stuff. And then Tekkit, who basically, other than having a arm made of neodermis, which is living metal, which, neo, new, dermis, Latin for skin, that stuff, so new skin and that stuff, and nice name for metal and that stuff. He basically has hacking magic, because the internet, because in the finalists, the internet is a dimension. The internet is a dimension that, like, all internet stuff, because you can't standard internet doesn't exactly go throughout planets very well. So just use the internet dimension for internet stuff. So basically, he can hack stuff, and when it's it's future shit. Fighting in hyper cities. There's bound to be a bunch of stuff. That he can real quick just look at and that stuff. Like in one of the fights, he loses his whatever the name for whatever the name for the small katana is and that stuff. Anyways, he loses that, and so basically, right, he has to fight, and he opens, he moves, cranes and that stuff. He opens up, pressure vents. He even, he even forces a grav train to derail and crush some people.
Dang. That's pretty cool. Is there any other characters who's gonna be featured prominently in it, or is it gonna be these three?
So those are the the finalists. It is a group. It is finalists. It's a group, kind of like the Fantastic Four or whatever, right? But there are of course other characters, but
Yeah.
the finalists themselves, they're going to be other than the basically King Space Jesus, or the Lord Sovereign. He's going to be they're going to be the main good guys that you see stuff through. But in terms of bad guys, I mean there's the main bad guy and that stuff, who you see his visor on the This Is War and that stuff. The Crimson Emperor and that stuff. Literally, he what's it called? He was so obsessed, with how his wife and son got killed and that stuff, that he was so pissed off that he was able that his mind was able to link to space hell, and so Space Satan literally was like, "Hey, you want to get revenge? I'll give you a bunch of powers and that stuff. Actually, the planet that you're on, it has a it has the MacGuffin or whatever. And then also there is capitalism, and also there is another character called the Vanguard, which is basically just capitalism, as a dude, and he's just a scrawny, and that stuff. Then also, there's, I like the entire thing of where there's the main bad guy, and then there are his generals and that stuff, because I'm gonna be real with you, I'm the biggest Transformers nerd ever on that stuff, and so Megatron, he has his lieutenants and that stuff. And okay, what inspired the designs of the three characters? So for Nose and that stuff, I'm gonna be sorry. It's combination of a Space Marine, Optimus Prime, helmet wise, Optimus Prime. The visor is basically ripped off from Genji from Overwatch. The and what's it called? Master Chief too, and then for what's it called? Then for Tekkit, what I would say is Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. What's Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. Bucky, the Winter Soldier and that stuff. Jack from Ghost Runner. Just the entire hacking system from Cyberpunk 2077, and also cyborg ninja with hacking magic and a metal arm is just kind of cool as hell. And then Mantle, which is on the left or whatever, whatever is farther from my little box. She was based off of Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman, She-Ra, like X-Men, not X-Men, He-Man, She-Ra, and what's it called? A Adeptus Sororitas from Warhammer and that stuff, and I think for my characters and that stuff, I think I'm giving you like the biggest inspirations. I literally have like hundreds of and Gypsy Danger, because I learned that Gypsy Danger, like from the best fucking movie, Pacific Rim, is it is a chick who's the strongest out of all three of them. So strength in the finalists is weird, because right, physically strongest, that would be Mantle, right? She's physically the strongest. She's got there's gonna be a panel. There's gonna be a scene where she holds up, where she literally lifts up a entire fucking city block and that stuff. And that's in the first arc and that stuff, when they're at their least powerful, when they get bitched around the most. In terms of Aether affinity and that stuff, it would be Nose. Because I'm gonna be real with you. He is straight up a chosen one. But mentally strong, right? Who can would be Tekkit. Mentally, he is the most mentally sane, because he actually grew up with both parents who actually loved him, and he doesn't fight the insurgency because they took something from him. He fights the insurgency because he can realize they're bad people. I don't want that to happen. So physically strongest, Mantle. Aether, like strongest like via space magic, would definitely be Nose. And then strongest like mentally, who could theoretically take the most torture without going like genuinely fucking schizo, would be Tekkit. They all complement each other. They all have Nose and that stuff. He's kind of just an asshole. I'm gonna be real with you, right? Like, in the first like few pages, you're gonna realize like this guy, damn, he's kind of just a dick. But that's also the thing of, I like characters. There's a reason why, Iron Man is my favorite character, Marvel character, because, right, he's a piece of shit, right? He is a genuine piece of shit, but right, he keeps on trying to be better. I don't like characters, like, I like characters and that stuff, but, like, my favorite characters aren't the people who, are, always the good guy and that stuff. My favorite characters are characters who are flawed as shit, because real people are flawed as shit. But they know they're flawed, and so they just keep on striving to do better. They have vices, like Iron Man. He has alcohol and that stuff, and that affects his his entire life. Knows he he has his vices and that stuff. He has he thinks he knows better and that stuff, and then Next thing you know, he gets hit by a fucking grav train and that stuff, and gets flung, gets flung 2 hyper city blocks and that stuff. Um, you know,
Yeah. All right. I do think that is all the time we have.
yeah.
Did
Yo,
make
I'm
it-
sorry that Loki killed your live.
No, I don't think you killed it. I just think this is our first time going 3 hours, so it's hard to compare and contrast. But
That makes sense.
yeah, I think I might stick to around 2 hours.
God,
next
I
time.
forgot so much lore and that stuff that I could have mentioned. Nah, it's good.
No, it's all right.
That just
There's
means I got something right.
yeah, and there'll be definitely more chances for you to come back up and stuff too.
Yeah, when I actually have a script and that stuff, and I ask you what questions you were gonna give me, 2 hours before this. So
Yeah, Loki, I forgot to send out the questions. I'm not gonna
you
lie.
know, the guy, the guy with a stuttering problem and who has brain damage. Yes, I am, There's a reason why the government gives me money to live, pretty much. The guy with brain damage that affects his speaking and that stuff, and that's why I say so much. It's almost like I should have needed a script and that stuff. So, just tell me whenever next time on that stuff. Also, follow my main channel. This is my live account. My live. I literally made it like I think 3 days ago because TikTok. That this would I'm just saying this would have never happened if my good Chinese spy was here. That's all I'm saying. I do not my American spy, not my homeboy.
Yeah. No, I think your interview was great though. Yeah, that was my fault for sending out the questions. So I actually didn't even remember until like literally I sent them out 30 minutes before the live. That was bad. But no, thanks for coming up and talking about your story and everything. I'm actually really interested in it.
Yep, just follow at Nose Art and that stuff. Literally just same account, but underscore art. For
Got it
more,
up
I'm
on the
gonna
screen.
probably post a video today.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks for coming up, and I'll talk to you later.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a good one, for sure. One I haven't heard about, but glad I did. Um, it's like the first indie project I've seen outside of superheroes, so I'm actually really excited for him to release that full graphic novel. But we are coming to an end of indie interviews. This went for 3 hours, which I think next time we'll keep it at 2. Primarily because everyone started to leave about around the 3 hour 40 minute mark, or at 2 hour 40 minute mark. So I'll try to keep it at just 2 hours for the next one. But yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, which it will be uploaded to YouTube, thanks for watching. And if you made it this far, you're probably sleeping. So, thanks for watching. I say that because I watch really long videos when I am falling asleep, so I never make it to the end of them. uh, but other than that, thanks to everybody who tuned in to the live, asked questions, supported us. We made it almost to the new goal, which was put up by a whole 100. Thanks to Pocket Size Comics for that, and shout out to the Scrapped Outline for sending an 8 clap clap. I forgot to say something about that. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning into the second episode of Indie Interviews. This was definitely an awesome one. You're welcome, Shockwave. It was awesome to have you up. And I will see you all next week for episode 3. If you want to sign up, it's in the Discord link somewhere. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. I'll talk to you all later.